boy Pocho1 of the Pocho Live podcast. Today, my thoughts on living with the best, 18th Street, but more specifically, West Side 18th Street. And not only West Side on 18th Street, but the Westlake district, 6th and Westlake. I lived in a big red apartment full of guys from 18th Street living there. Let's just get into it. So, me living across, living in LA, being a street photographer, being an artist, I lived in a lot of communities. But one of the most historic and memorable hoods I lived in was the Westlake district. A lot of people confuse it actually with Pico Union. Pico Union is right next to it. Westlake is right, the district that hits MacArthur Park. One side it's 18th Street, the other side it's MS. There's like easy riders, crazy riders, orphans. There's all kinds of people. You know what I mean? All kinds of hoods. It's a surprise. There's Burlington, Rockwood. It just goes on and on. Diamond Street, down the street, Temple Street. It's off the hook. I knew. So the little story behind this is basically I fell in love with my ex-wife, and she was a college student at UCLA, and she happened to live in down. She's like, oh, I live in, West LA. And I thought when you say West LA, I thought she was saying like West LA, Culver City, way west, But no, she meant like a lot of people, when they're really from LA, sometimes West LA just means west of downtown, literally. And she lived on 6th and Westlake. So you can think about it. It's like 6 streets away from, 1st Street or whatever, right? Anyway, I'm coming after a big party at this place called La Mina in City Terrace where I had a show. And the first night, my ex-wife knew that I was partying too much and drinking for a whole week and that I needed to get away. And this is the first night she met me. She came to my art show. And she took me home with her, and we didn't do anything. But she sobered me up and got me better, And from there we fell in love and did a lot of amazing things. She's one of the founders of the Dream Act movement. Shout out to Nancy. But that being said, right across the way of MacArthur Park, there was the UCLA Labor Center where I did a lot of my photography. So, moving into what actually happened, 6th and Westlake, bro, there's a mural right across the street in the laundromat. And this is the historic mural of 18th Street. And it's also where the Colombianos are at, the clique, And I'm going to say little things that I, got off of Wikipedia, and then give you a little bit of my take on it, and then a little couple personal stories. And I know you're all waiting to find out what happened about me getting almost shot. Well, stick with me, and you will definitely find out. Now, 18th Street is also known as Calle 18. Mara 18, simply La 18th in Central America. It's a multi-ethnic, largely Central American and Mexican transnational criminal organization that started as a street gang in Los Angeles. It is one of the largest transnational criminal gangs in Los Angeles with 50,000 members, and I'd say they probably have even more. Between the United States, Mexico, and Central America. Oh no, there's way more. They are allied with the big homies, I don't even want to say the name, another U.S.-based crime organization. A United States Department of Justice report featured the following statement regarding 18th Street. These two gangs have turned the Central American Northern Triangle into the area of the hottest homicide rate in the world. History. 18th Street gang started near 18th Street and Union Avenue. That's not that far. I'm on 6th and this is 18, if you know. In the Rampart District. So there's the Pico Union, Rampart District, Westlake. Actually, I don't know if Pico Union is part of the Rampart District. Could be. There's conflicting information as the exact area, but this is generally accepted area by most academic sources. They were originally part of Canton 14. That's that hood that everybody thinks that are Northerners when they're locked up, but they're one of the old. They are probably one of the oldest, or if not the oldest, street gang in Los Angeles. Shout out to the Clan Boys, Canton. They were originally part of the Clan 14, but wanted to make a separate clique called Glanton 18 Street and allow immigrants the opportunity to join. The proposal was rejected by Clan 14, which led to the formation of 18th Street Gang. The two gangs have been bitter rivals ever since. Let me see. 18th Street Gang grew up expanding its membership to other nationalities and races, and it is among the first multiracial, multi-ethnic gang in Los Angeles. In the beginning, they were made up largely of second-generation Hispanics. As the 18th Street Gang began to battle with more established Hispanic gangs, they began to recruit outside the Hispanic community. Yes, this is true. You will see Asian 18th Street, Black 18th Streeters, all that, just like Northerners. There are approximately 200 separate individual autonomous gangs operating under the same name within the barrios of San Fernando, specifically North Hollywood. Shout out to Gil. San Gabriel Valley. Shout out to all the homies out there. South Bay, Riverside, East Los. That's true, man, because they're over there on the east side of 18th Street, over there by Lincoln Heights. South Los Angeles, you got South Side 18th Street, one of my homeboys, Jose. Now he's helping people on Skid Row. Shout out. Hollywood boys, you already know about them. Downtown LA, Northeast LA, Pico Union, Westlake, which what I'm talking about. And what else? Or West LA. And I actually got to vibe with some of the homies from 18th Street from West LA. They lived in what they would call Palms. Back to the story. I was living with my wife-to-be, Nancy, in the Westlake district of Los Angeles. So I was on 6th Street off of Westlake in this really big, well-known red apartment right across the street from a little hotel. There's this big sign called Westlake that's well-known. I was literally right behind that sign. And in the same parking lot in the back, there's a Jack in the Crack. And everybody knows that Jack in the Crack. I knew it very well because remember, this is the time when I'm still drinking and using a lot of powder in your boy's beak. It is what it is. So I started living there. It is what it is. People started kind of seeing me. You got to remember, at that time I'm pelon. Everybody doesn't understand. I didn't start growing my hair till I got sober. So I'm pelon. You know what I mean? And I have a beard. Most homies don't have beards, and I don't dress like a homie. I do wear Dickies and Chucks, but I kind of usually have like some kind of like political kind of Chicano shirt or something that's kind of not like gangster, right? But it's like at that time I didn't have as many tattoos, like artistic tattoos. So you got to remember, I've mixed my tattoos up so you can kind of see it looks more just artsy. But back then there were still like just like kind of hood tattoos and stuff like that. So every once in a while I'll get looked at a little bit. And instead of waiting for them to hit me up, I'm the type of person who's like about like just getting to know people. So I started talking to one of the homies. We're going to call him Sparky. So I started talking to Sparky. And he would always sit by there's a bus stop right there, dog. Like right by Jack in the Crack. Right across the street from the mural. And a historic hotel. I'm going to try to remember the name. And he would literally wait for people to get off and on and just bang on people all day long, dog. I think that's why they called him that. You know what I mean? Allegedly. And so I started just chopping up. What's up, bro? How you doing? You want some tacos? And I gave him a couple tacos. At first he was like, nah. And then eventually he was just like, why not? You know what I mean? And he saw that I was a photographer. And he seen me taking pictures of people in the streets, of street vendors. Because right there on 6th and Westlake, there's hella vendors, bro, like a gang of them, all the way going up to Union. Because I'm like right where 18th Street is, and then right up by Union and, what is it, Westlake or 6th? Anyway, my bad. Yeah, 6th is Rockwood. So, back to the story. I started just intermingling, and this is where, people, if you're going to intermingle with homies, man, you know what I mean? It starts to get weird. There was a street right behind it. I wish I could remember these names, man. Had a cool name, and they lived right up. So when I would take girls back to like park them, because yes, at this time I was like shady, bro. I was like hooking up with girls, cheating on my girl. Like, I'm just being real. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I wasn't like, I was a party guy. To me, girlfriends were like, the girl I kind of wanted to hang out with after sex. It wasn't, like I actually could stand. It was sad, but I would park people in the back and then look up, and they're right there looking down on me, bro. So instead of just sitting there like being all quiet or scared, I would just go talk to them. I would just say, hey, how you doing, sir? Like real respectful. And I think right off the bat, one of the things that they liked was me saying sir. I don't know what it is about homies, but they love respect, you know? And so I just started talking to them, interacting, boom, boom. And of course, your boy likes to drink. There's a little liquor store right there with a Virgin Mary right next to it. I swear to God, every liquor store in LA has a Virgin Mary next to it. I think that they just want to pray for us. And so I would buy liquor and then I would drink right in the front sometimes, bro, especially at night with some of the artist friends. And they'd be out there, bro, and you could see from my apartment down to like where they would kick it because I was a little higher. And they were taxing people, bro. It was amazing to see them tax people here, there, you know, every day. You know, just a little bit though. Like it was like 10, 20 bucks, I think, a day or something. I think that was the rate, 20 bucks a day, or it could have been like 20 bucks even a week. I don't know. I know it wasn't like a lot, but it was more just to like acknowledge. And then there was a Ross up there, up the street too, where they would be always over there. And then down the street by Bonnie Bray. But one night, basically I started intermingling with these fools and drinking, and kind of like what I would do is like buy a couple beers, maybe pass a beer to them on the way out, you know, like walking past their alley where they would kick it, just because, you know, it's kind of like paying rent, you know, paying taxes, but it was just to stay in the good graces, you know, like and I just like a homie, like, hey, if I'm gonna have a drink, let's have a drink. And so then it went from me passing them a drink to stopping and kicking it with them and having the drink. And people don't understand this in Los Angeles. The moment you kick it outside with a gang member, active gang member, you're basically a gang member. And this whole spiel right here, this little story of mine, I think you all thought that it was 18th Street that was going to shoot me because I'm a northerner or whatever. I'm from up north. No. So what happens is, as we get to knowing each other, you know, this funny thing that I always have to do. It feels like coming out of the closet, like if you're gay or something. Pause. But it's funny. You have to kind of come out of the closet when you have to tell your ops or somebody that people might perceive that you guys are enemies, that you know where you're from. And you got to remember, I don't carry myself like this. I'm not all banged out, bro. I'm an artist. I got a beard. Most outsiders, some of them have beards. Most of them are very clean cut. They don't got like extra scruff like this. And so half the time they thought I was Puerto Rican or Hawaiian, you know what I mean? So it wasn't even like that. But eventually I told Sparky, because there's another couple homies, Little Man, and I'm just going to say Spider for this one. So Little Man was a little feisty, but he was cool, and Spider was a little bit older and real cool. Like, he wasn't even tripping at all. He was actually more interested. Another thing about these fools is when they find out that you're a buster or whatever, they are interested. They're like, want to ask you questions and stuff, because it's like not every day that they run into it. You gotta remember, LA sueños are worried about the guys down the street from them, not, you know, some busters from up north, you know? I mean, yeah, when they go to prison and all that, but so I wasn't a threat, you know, in terms of, and that's what real gangsters are dealing with. They're dealing with whatever is the most threat, the direct threat, they're addressing that or dealing with that, and they deal with other things as they come. So I started kicking it with them, and even I remember hearing people like, some of my homies like, hey bro, don't kick it, dog. Like, and then even some of the homies would be like, hey dog, you're trying to kick it. What's up, my boy? You want to get into the best? You know what I mean? Like, because there's the type of fools that jump you in, dog. Like, I bet you they would have, you know. And so then I was like joking with them, because I'm a fool when you're drinking and doing that youter, dude, and you powdering your little beak, bro. You be having courage, you be not thinking, you don't care. And you know, I was not caring, and you know, I almost paid the price for this. So be careful. You know, the moment you gotta stay ready in Los Angeles, and if you're not ready, you better get ready, because when the time comes and you're not, it could take everything from you. So one night I'm just posted, and you know, I'm going to go get some drinks. I forgot exactly what was going on, but definitely on my routine of getting some 240s at least, Old English, and I see the homies, so then I buy 4 40s, bro. So then I get a 40 for your Little Man and Sparky. And they drink the 40s in the alley, I drink a 40, and then I have a 40 to go home with, right? Well, of course, your boy drinks a 40, drinks another 40 and says, okay, I'm going to go buy 2 more 40s, take them home, and I'll just drink these with the homies. Well, I'm in my second 40 getting ready, of course, and I got to pee, dog. I remember thinking, I wish I would have just went to go pee or just bounced right there, you know. But that's how it always is in the neighborhood. You wish you could, you wish this, you wish that. So, well, actually, it wasn't. That was the end part. The first part was just so close, quiet, bro, and just. And the thing is out there, bro, is like they don't gotta ask where you're from because they already know, bro. So, dude, So these was, so he definitely did say, and the sad part is this happened twice, bro. I didn't learn my lesson. So the first time, the guys from Mara down the street, there's a neighborhood. Literally, bro, you can like see from where we're at, you can see their street. It blows my mind how close the people are. So they throw out the Mara and then and they let loose about 6 to 8 shots, and it was just one gun. I felt like they were just like not like, it was more like they just saw us. It wasn't like they were like planning it or anything, because usually when those fools are planning, they really go at it, bro. And so, bro, and the messed up part is I was the closest to the guy, but because I was, so he comes up, he's like right here and I'm right here, so I'm able to, if you know how a car pulls up, I'm able to run at the car to the side, so I got out of his range right away, bro. And I don't know what it is about, like that instinct of just, fight or flight, and I was gone, bro. Gone, I'm not gonna lie. Gone, bro. I didn't see what happened. Luckily, those fools smashed too. It was only 3 of us. And so when there's not a lot of numbers, it's easier to get away. But, bro, we were doing the Matrix. And it was like that. It wasn't boom, 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 thank God. But you never know. Those pows, bro, they can get up in you and mix up in your body, bro. But the thing also about getting shot at is you don't have time to really, like, act, like I was able to act and move towards he's coming, towards him almost, because I was already thinking, like, not even the shooting, just like I didn't want to do none of this, bro. I'm a civilian, I can run anytime, so I was gone, you feel me? So I didn't even like feel any of it. So then well, this is how ghetto it can be. I go around the back and there's Ross right there. Anybody that knows this area, Westlake, you'll know what I'm talking about. Go through the alley, and the alley shares a parking lot with Ross, and across the street there's a laundromat. And so I go into Ross, bro. It's still 8:30, bro. It's like the middle. It's not even like hell. Like, that's another reason why I was okay with kicking it, because this is like LA 8:30 in the summer, bro. It's still daytime outside. So I thought I was good, but you're never really good in LA. So I keep moving. So I push into Ross. I pretend like I'm shopping, and then come back out. Bro, instead of like going home, I go back and get those 240s and go home and drink more. And then I don't see the homies. The next day I come back, bro, I'm a fool like that. I would literally day drink. I was taking some pictures, and it's like I'm just kicking it again. And they're like, "What happened, dog?" Speedy Gonzalez, these fools call me Speedy Gonzalez, fool, because I was gone. Yepa. But nah, bro, I'm not trying to kick around to see what happens, you know what I mean? And sad, this is the first time. And now the second time, this is from a neighborhood called Rockwood, and this is up the street, and they have gone at it with 18th Street for many years. And why? Because they said Rockwood. But you're right, usually they don't even say nothing. But I think these 2 times they said something like that. Well, the second time, I'm only just walking, and I said what's up to the homies that were posted a little bit further down the street, closer to Rockwood. And that's where it gets a little hairy, because they're so close, bro. Rockwood and 18th Street are hella close to each other. And this time, it wasn't for me. I was just this is the other part about Los Angeles, bro. You could just be walking around, bro. And so these fools get at it, and they get into a shootout with each other. And it's the same guy that I said what's up to. But because I said what's up to him, the fool's busting at him. And then he can't find him, so he sees me. So he starts busting at me. And I'm like, bro, I just bounced. I started running towards Union. It's funny because I kind of run towards his neighborhood, Rockwood, but then I take a right on Union, go all the way down to the Bank of America and Starbucks, which is on Union and 5th Street, I think. And get a coffee, bro. I got a coffee and pretend it didn't happen. Because at this time, I was also kind of living like a double life. I was like this activist. I've always kind of been this fool that was like this activist and like trying to be the right good guy, but then also a fool and like problematic and like toxic and like alcoholic and into, all that. And so, another part I forgot to say is that one of the reasons why I wanted to kick it with them is because I wanted to get this, and I wanted to get like a little discount, bro. I'll be honest, because I was like a diva. I didn't like paying. I had rules. I would never pay for this, and I would never hold it. So I never got in trouble for doing it, even though I did it like 4 times a week for like 10 years. But one day at a time, got 10 years sober, and none of this, and just a little bit of that. But yes, So the first time, the Mata almost got me. The second time, Rockwood almost got me. Shout out to both of them. Oh, let me throw this last little story in. So anybody that has a beard looks different. So one day I'm walking down the street and I shave my beard. Every once in a while I'll shave my beard just to get a new look, to get a fresh start, whatever. Say I messed up my beard a little bit, like it looks all crazy right now. I'll just shave it all and start over. So I'm walking up the street to go do laundry, bro. And I have a clean cut. I used to do laundry in that little strip mall where the 18th Street Mirror was at. And the Sparky hits me up, dude. And you gotta remember, this guy I know the best, more than Little Man and what I call the other guy, Spider. So he hits me up and he's like, Westside, 18th Street, fool, you know where you're at? And I'm like, bro, it's me, fool, it's Pocho. It's Chava. That's what, Salvador. My real name is Salvador. So hey, fool, it's me looking, dog. And he's like, oh, my bad, my boy. You look like a straight up. They didn't call it up back then, enemy guy. They would call them enemy guys. That's what the Southsiders call them, enemy guy. You look like an enemy guy, bro. My bad. But it's love, though. But you already know, though, right? And I was like, yeah. He like almost banged on me, because that's how these fools are. They're feisty. Like, basically, they're always right and they're always wrong. But it is what it is. So, those are my three little stories. I have so much more about 18th Street. Shout out to the 18th Street. One thing I want to say is that they knew, those guys, Clever and Little Man and Spider, knew that I was from up north, and they were respectful because also how I was courageous enough to come at them and let them know, so they didn't have to find out. A lot of times with gangsters, bro, just be direct with them, let them know, what you're doing, where you're at, and what it is. And it is like checking in. I'm not necessarily checking in with Swifty Blue. That's my boy. I got love for him. But I check in with whoever I need to check in with to do whatever my goal is. My goal was to live, to eat, to make love, to have a great time, to work, and to experience life in that community. And I did for over 3 to 4 years and never got hurt once. I definitely almost got shot at a couple times, but that was because I wanted to hang out. And it shows you that your addiction or your flaws or things that you're working on can take you to places that will change your life. And it's funny now to talk about it, bro, but if my mom got that phone call that I got shot over drinking a 40, bro, it'd be tragic. I would have never had my daughter. I would have never been out here. I would have never got to do the things that I'm doing. So everybody be safe in Los Angeles. Shout out to the best. Shout out to 18th Street and shout out to everybody. And just because I'm talking about 18th Street does not mean I'm trying to promote them or go against their enemies. Shout out to Rockwood, Crazy Riders, MS, Temple Street. Again, it's not here to promote gangs or any of that stuff. It's just to tell stories. And I want to tell stories that are not all about just ops. I mean, of course, I talked about them shooting at us, but I also talked about how a gang that everybody thinks is so crazy was okay with me as long as I kept my respect. And, and they let me do my laundry. They let me be with my lady. They never told on me when I was out there cheating and all that. Sad to say, but I'm just being honest with you guys. Spider, he's the older guy that lived in the apartment looking down on me, would just smirk when I'd bring another girl home. I think they kind of liked how I lived my lifestyle. They thought it was different. I don't think they ever met a Chicano photographer that was super artsy, hanging out in Boyle Heights all the time and trying to make a difference, but at the same time shady and crazy and liking to do this and all that. And the funny part is the first AA meetings I would go are in that same community, man. And one day I'm going to remember the names of a lot of the streets and the building that I used to go to get sober, man. And shout out to Robert. He was one of the first people I met in AA that made me believe that I could get sober one day. Again, subscribe, turn on notifications. Let me know what your experiences are with 18th Street. Shout out to Young Dopey, the artist. He showed a lot of respect for up north and down south, and as a gentleman. Shout out to my boy Jose from Homeboy Industries and from Southside 18th Street, who still, somebody hits. I was with him over here by Cam in Boyle Heights, crazy ass Mexicans, and these fools hit him up, and he was like, Southside 18th Street, what? And they're just they're like, damn, that's right, because he's like, my bad, that's right, because he's older, so they're like, damn, the OG's still with it. So they just we're cool with them, even though that's this is probably their ops, because there's East Side 18th Street over there by Lincoln Heights. But yes, that's my story about living with 18th Street, almost getting shot at and getting hit up by them by accident when I shaved my beard, surviving it all to tell you today. Much love and respects to all the communities, and I hope that I make people proud. I'm trying to tell stories that counter the narrative that we can't get along and we can't live together and we can't, do something different. Things are changing and we should change with the times. This is your boy Pocho1. This is the Pocho Life Podcast. And I'm out.